Hey guys, I told you guys that a vlog was coming next and it is here. It turns out I just have random clips of all of November in my camera roll. So this is gonna be like a month vlog. Sometimes I'll pop in and just say hello and tell you a little story about what happened that day or whatever. Yeah. This was actually election day. Me and Jason went out to Cherry Blossom. It was actually by the beach, and we're like, we want ramen, so we like went to this ramen place, but we actually didn't get ramen. Unfortunately. It was mad cold and we got this instead. It was pretty good, but all the ingredients were raw. But anyway, but this was a couple days later. I started working on my new painting. So you hear more about this piece further on in this video. Then me and my sister went to the beach. Let me tell you guys about this. I was actually having a really bad day this day, and I asked her, I was like, can we go to the beach? And anytime me and my sister go to the beach, it's like we both had a long day, we want to do like a little drive out. It's kind of like a thing that we do. She noticed that I was feeling kind of blah, and I asked her if we could take a drive out, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. It was actually right after the hurricane, so the waves were hitting like crazy. Oh my God. This was November 9th, so it was 4 days after I put my 2 weeks in, and I was already feeling discouraged and scared and everything. I was like, oh, what if I made the wrong decision? So I actually wrote about this too in my Google Docs. Y'all know about my Google Docs. If you watched my last video, you know about my Google Docs. I took a nap and woke up tired. God is trying to tell me to get up and paint, but I tuned him out before the thought was even completed and went back to sleep for an hour or so. I felt sadness weighing on me. I told God I love him. I don't know. I just felt like a child that did something bad. I don't know. But when I got to my room, I apologized to him. I felt a little better, but Michelle realized something was wrong. So now we're on the road driving to the beach just for some fresh air and clarity. So I actually wrote this before we got to the beach. It was on the way to the beach. I was in the car. That's why it's nice to have Google Docs, because you could just go on your phone and use it whenever. It was on a Saturday I called out, and I was like, I really called out even though I already put my 2 weeks in. Like, why am I calling out during my last 2 weeks? That's kind of OD. I was eating myself up. And I also broke my fast early. I ate at like 4 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. And I slept in. All the things that kind of make me feel like crap. I was having a bad day. I was eating myself. Like, am I even ready to quit my job? Like, I could barely go to work. And I could barely obey God and not break my fast, and I could barely wake up and get out of bed. Like, I'm lazy. So my head was very foggy this day. What I wrote after we saw these waves at the beach was, the waves were big and close to the shore. It was nothing like I've ever seen. It's one thing to live on God's earth, but to be reminded that he created this and also controls it really humbles me. It made me realize that he has his hands on my life. Even if I don't see it or feel him, he's there, creating and controlling. I fear him. I don't want to disappoint him. He has faith in me, so I should have the same faith in myself. Work like I know he's up to something. P.S. I'm so grateful for Rochelle. She allowed me to feel without making me feel small or guilty about it. She took me on the drive with no hesitation. She knew I really needed it. She has a big heart. I'm glad she's my sister and not just my friend. That's my girl. Me and Christina went out this day. It was such a good day. Her birthday was actually the day before, so we went out and celebrated, and we went to Mojo in RVC. We had the empanadas, and I think she had like sliders. But happy birthday, dear Christina. Happy birthday to you. Shut. Oh, yeah. this day. We went and ran errands. We went to the gym in the morning. It was a lot of fun. I always like going out with my mom.
It's not about how you feel in the season, okay? And just wait for what God's gonna say and reveal to you.
Today's my last day of work, and I'm cleaning up my drawer. It's very bold of me to put my phone up here. It's because nobody's in the showroom. Most of the stuff in here is like their stuff, so I don't want to take it. I think I might take this tape dispenser though. They could keep the stapler. I don't need that. Wait, actually, I'm gonna take the stapler too. There's a bunch of stuff. These are all notes that I wrote myself when I first started, and I was like sitting here and I was super discouraged, and I did not know why God told me to come down here, but I will write them and put them on my desk because I'm just weird like that. This was one of the notes that was in my drawer. It says, remain silenced. I'm so tired, exhausted actually, of working for a living. I'm going to keep trying until God says stop. Here's another one I wrote. Give God a million chances. He deserves it. The point still stands. That day was very bittersweet for me because I've been working there for so long, and I really do like the people there. Like, there's some people that obviously get on my nerves and annoy me, but it's just like I still love those people because they've been there every single day. I've been working there every single day without hesitation. Yes, I called out shut up. But I deadass woke up and went to that place every day for what, 2.5 years? 3 years? 3 years. Like, these people are people that I talk to every day and like form a connection with. So I was like, damn, like I felt like I couldn't say bye enough times. Obviously, it's the start of something new. It's the start of me being on a different journey. So it was sweet at the same time. And I kept listening to the song, I will be okay, I will be okay, I'll be okay. That song, I played it in the morning and I played it when I was leaving work, and it really calmed me down. I said so many prayers the night before and the morning of and during. What a time. Jay took me out on the same day on my last day of work. It was a great time. I loved spending time with him. He wanted to celebrate just me starting something new and figuring out my life.
It's in the food, but it doesn't. It's like a flavor.
I really cannot wait to marry this man. Me and Michelle was getting our second piercing. We were so hyped. And this lady, she was so sweet. I forget her name. I was like, yeah, we're sisters. She's like, girl, I know. I'll be forgetting me and Michelle look alike. Your turn. It's cute. No, it's still gonna look good. I really wanted to take things slow on my first day not working. So I took things slow. I cleaned my room, I watered my plants, I changed my sheets. Like, I really wanted to just reset and set a base for my new life. Because I knew I was going to be spending a lot of time at home. I just wanted to make my home as beautiful as possible. I literally call my room my home because it is. But yeah, enjoy this ASMR of me fluffing my sheets.
Baby, I wonder, would you just put your sweats on for me? Don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't an option, due to unusual rain and thunder, baby, I wonder.
And since it was such a peaceful day and I spent the day by myself, I was home alone, so I decided to film me talking about my artwork finally. So what I'm trying to do right now is find a name for this bad boy. The concept of the entire drawing is isolation. When God puts you in isolation so you can do certain things. I wrote this down in my book at work. This was the original sketch. It looks like this. As you can see, the little person down here and the hills. That's supposed to be a night sky. I used a marker. It was a very rough sketch. And then I sketched it again. Hold on. So I sketched it again in my actual sketchbook. So a little bit more refined. Still see the person down there, the hills, sky, the clouds, and the moon. And then this is the final. So now I'm finally trying to name it so I could like post it and then, you know, have an accurate name for it or whatever. So I decided to go back to the original to see what I wrote about isolation in the first place and what inspired me to even draw this first picture. So it was actually a video that I watched. I'll put it up on the screen and I'll leave it in the description box because I forgot the name of the girl's channel. The name of the video is God's Isolating You for a Reason. But it's this YouTuber that I've been watching. Her name is Melody Alyssa. That's her name. She really inspires me to stay on the path that I'm on, and like she's very relatable. It's a young black woman and she speaks about God and her family, and it's beautiful. So she made this video about isolation around the time that I felt isolated, and it just popped up on my page. But here are 4 points from the video. 1, God is isolating you to remove distractions. So there's certain distractions sometimes that remove us from the Word of God, remove us from spending time with God, remove us from even thinking about Him. It starts with a conversation. Are you even talking to Him? When was the last time you spoke to Him? It's things like that that really emphasize your relationship with Him. Point number 2, God prepares, matures, and equips you for what's coming next. Having faith and trusting God that He has a plan and is working it together for your good and for His glory. God's perspective is bigger than ours. He knows I have some things to learn and mature in before going on to the next thing. Point number 3, we learn to develop a new intimacy and dependence on God. When you're away from other things and away from things like your job and your friends and people you rely on for joy and things you rely on for like temporary satisfaction, we start to depend on it. So God wants us to be alone with Him so we realize that we don't need those things to depend on, and it's just Him that we need to depend on. Point number 4, we are being protected. God will stop opportunities and people from entering into our lives for protection. We don't know what God sees. We can't see what God sees. Some things we want right now is not meant for us yet or at all. So this was a very helpful video because around this time I was feeling alone, and every thought, even though I would speak to my boyfriend about it and my sister and my friends, whatever, it still felt like I was alone, and it still felt like I felt crazy because I'm like, why do I feel like this? Like I'm always making the wrong decision, or I'm being dramatic, and like maybe I'm just being lazy and I just don't want to work, da da da. But God was really putting me in a place where it was just me and Him. If you look, this person here is just Him and his little Bible by himself in this huge field. Even though you feel alone, you're not alone. You're not by yourself, and God is with you the entire time. So that's like the emphasis of this whole entire painting, and that's what I wanted to represent. For a title, I don't know, but along with my notes, she also referenced some scriptures from the Bible, so I'm about to look them up and read it and see if there's something that comes to my mind or God tells me to title this painting. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. The imagination isolated. Isolation within imagination. Imagination within isolation. The isolated imagination. The isolated imagination. Like that. The reason I said the isolated imagination is because within the Bible we see plenty of times God speak about imagination. It's easy to speak about imagination as something that's aloof, like daydreaming, but the imagination really is something that is the first place where we practice faith or fear. It's the first place where we really like, okay, can this work out? And then you think about, oh yeah, this could work out. And you think about your dreams, and you think about the positive outcomes of the actions that you make. God even spoke about how I forget which nation it was, they imagined sinful things, and God even said, help these people stop imagining these sinful things before they come to pass. What you imagine does come true, and that's why stress can make you sick. And I'm a big daydreamer. I've always been since I was a kid. I mean, I'm a Pisces, it makes sense. Pisces thing. The imagination that God gave us the privilege to have should be used for things that represent positives and good outcomes. When you think of your future, what do you think of? What do you think of when you think of the next step? So the way that imagination now ties into isolation is when you're alone and when you're by yourself, it's very easy to think, oh, what's going on? Like, none of my friends are around me. I feel like I'm alone. You're super stressed, you're anxious, and things like that. It's easy to switch and automatically think of the negative when you're isolated and when you're by yourself. But when you're by yourself and you think of the good, when you think of, okay, God's preparing me for something, when you think of, okay, this is the perfect time to double down on my craft because now I finally have time. Even in my situation, when I was isolated and I felt like I was alone, negative thoughts were very easy to think about. And even though I have my family with me and I have my boyfriend with me and everybody's great, it's like, why do I still feel like I'm by myself? Why do I still feel like I am the only one that's experiencing this life right now? In those moments, I realized that even though when I felt so alone and I felt so scared and I felt so isolated and misunderstood, I was never by myself. And God was always with me and speaking to me and keeping me and preparing things for me in rooms that I'm not even in yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the whole idea of this painting. I'm by myself, bro. Like, I'm by myself, but I'm not alone. The isolated imagination. I like that.
I would like to get to know if you could be the kind of girl that you took me down for. 'Cause when I look at you, I feel something tell me that you're the kind of guy that should make a move on. And if I don't let you know, then I won't be for real. I could be wrong, but I feel like something could be going on.
Just gotten too little. Fender bender. This is actually insane. We were on our way to go get pizza and this old lady sideswiped us. She, like, you know when there's two lanes and one lane is turning and the other lane is not turning, and you could like swerve really quickly. There's no traffic coming this way, you could swerve into the turning lane. Old lady was trying to do that and she didn't swerve enough and she sideswiped Rochelle. And she was like, here, take my number. If it's less than $400, don't call the insurance. Just call me and I give you the $400. Rochelle got it done for free. So this poor old lady. She said, poor me! Girl, bye! Freak you! Old lady! She hit me! So, is it clearer? Got a new phone, which means a new camera. This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Apparently the camera's supposed to be new and improved on this bad boy, so y'all let me know if I look new and improved. I want to do another test. Here's the front camera. Walk around the room. A bitty bitty bum bum. Yeah. Cinematic. Front camera. Walk around the room. Take a seat. Boom. Yeah. I feel like there's not much of a difference. on the front camera, but the back camera, you notice a difference. Like, you could deadass. It's crisp. It's giving. Let me try the cinematic mode. Here's cinematic. Focuses on your face. Come in. Hey. Let me see if it focuses on two faces. You stand back. Not back, but like next to me. Let's see if it will focus on us.
Oh, it blurs out the background?
Mm-hmm. This piece is the start of a new series that I have been trying to develop. This was the first sketch. The series is about the crowns that we receive that when we go to heaven. And the Bible talks about 5 different crowns. It talks about the crown of rejoicing, the crown of righteousness, the crown of life, the crown of glory, and the incorruptible crown. This painting that you see me working on is the first painting. It's not any specific crown, but it's all the crowns together. So this is like the initial base painting, and then I'll have 5 other paintings that go along in the series. This is something that you'll be seeing for a while. It's actually pretty funny. My bishop was preaching about the crowns during Bible study one week, and the day before is when I came up with the idea of all these crowns. So it was very interesting that he preached about it the next day, and it actually helped me a lot because I wanted to really know what each crown meant.
But she chose the name that she knew would inform her faith and change the way she prayed. She said Lord of Hosts because I think Hannah recognized something that we need to recognize too, is that sometimes we need to call on the military God. Hannah needed the warrior God. Hannah needed the God who would not just fight Goliath, but also infertility. The God who has all resources at his disposal. If he made the body, then he can heal the body. If he is life, he can give life. And let's just say, hypothetically speaking, God decides not to. He can also give joy in the midst of sorrow. That's a resource.
Stay tuned and keep up to date. I post updates often on my Instagram of works in progress and what I'm working on for the day. So definitely go check that out if you want to see a real-time update of me working on my work. So excited. I really love how this crown is going so far. I initially did swirls. I put a picture up on the screen. I did swirls and I was like, this looks so tacky, I want to do something else. So I'm trying to do it gold. I asked my boyfriend, actually, we sat down and had a little powwow, a little brainstorming session of how this crown should look. And we decided on gold, obviously. I was running away from gold because I was like, if I'm gonna do gold, I'm gonna do gold. Like, I'm gonna try to get it as realistic as possible. Which is very daunting and very scary, but I think I'll get it done. But the painting looks kind of clean right now. Let me show you. Because I did the markers on top, the marker keeps seeping through. This is oil paint, and for some reason the swirls just appear through the oil paint slowly but surely. You have no idea how much layers of oil paint I put on just to try to get it to not look like that. But you guys see what it looked like with all the oil paint on it before it seeped through. I kind of like the swirls. I kind of want to incorporate it somehow into the gold because the way it's peeking through is kind of wavy. But yeah, guys, that's my little November recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this vloggy type thingamabobber. I am trying to get myself out there. I'm trying to connect with people and just connect with the right people. Like, I don't want to say get a job. I want to say find an opportunity. There's a door for me somewhere. And I'm not gonna always find it sitting down at home. So I went to the city and I went with my best friend Ryan, and you'll see that very soon. Thank you for sticking around. Like, I'm in my jammies, I'm about to go to my bed. I'm very comfortable. I am very comfortable, but I hope y'all are too. I want to make this like a little nook over here, so it's like, because I'm gonna be filming over here quite often. This is the one corner of my room that I like to film in. I'm gonna make this really cozy and cute so y'all actually have something to look at. So I'll see y'all in the next video. I love you. Bye.